So today we're going to talk about Debt-Free Life, which is a brand new product Symmetry Financial just rolled out. It's pretty amazing, actually. It helps families come up with an exact plan and timeline on how they're going to pay off their debt, which saves clients time and money that they would have otherwise thrown away paying interest. So here to help us understand it a little better is none other than DJ Debt-Free, Mr. Keith Fonseca. So Keith is an elite producer and key leader at Symmetry Financial, launching his business in 2018. Keith has dedicated and named his agency after his brother, Andrew, who passed away in 2016 of kidney failure. Going by the nickname DJ Debt-Free, Keith has been a trailblazer in the Debt-Free Life program. When he's not helping families, Keith loves music, sports, kids, and most of all, his family, friends, and clients who he considers family. So hey, Keith, thanks for being here with us today.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm grateful to be here and excited to tell people about the Debt-Free Life program.
Awesome. So sometimes Debt-Free Life sounds too good to be true. Can you explain to viewers how it works a little bit?
For most people, it definitely is too good to be true. And the reason is because we've been raised and conditioned to have debt. Our parents or grandparents tell us, save for retirement, get a good education, get a good job. That conventional thinking is no longer applicable in this society because to be able to get ahead, I have to have money to make money. I have to spend money to make money. And this belief that debt is a good thing can be challenged. So here's how it works, right? The process is not new. It's over 200 years old. It was piloted by the richest family in the history of the United States, the Rockefellers, right? And they knew what they're doing. So 6, 7 generations of wealth have been passed on through this program. The idea is that I take my money and I put it into a whole life insurance policy, and I recycle it in an opportunity to grow cash value while borrowing against that cash value. Notice I said borrow against the cash value and use that money to pay off my debt. Then when I pay off my debt, I take the exact payments I was setting to the debtors and I send it back to the cash value in the whole life insurance, which of course is me. So basically I become a bank. And in doing so, I stop paying creditors and their high interest rates, and I start earning money on my money by getting an interest rate from the carrier inside of what we like to call my family's bank. Now, I know it sounds complicated, and I know it sounds a little bit more than some people want to handle. What's important to remember is not traditional whole life insurance. There are a lot of people out there talking about whole life insurance is bad. And in the normal case of whole life insurance, we're looking at long periods of time to gain cash value. But to keep it very simplistic, when I put money into this policy, I can draw from it right away. Look, there's 4 places that people are losing money constantly. Taxes, interest, we're losing cash flow, and we're saving for an unguaranteed, non-guaranteed retirement, right? If I'm 30 years old and I've got a mortgage, I've got consumer debt like my car, like credit cards, like school loans, like personal loans. And this applies to any age, but just think about that average American who's 30. That person wakes up every morning and goes to a job he or she doesn't like for 26 cents on the dollar. That's right, Courtney. You probably didn't even know. You too are working for 26 cents on the dollar. How does that make you feel?
That sucks, frankly.
Let me explain, because the average American gives up 40% of their money into taxes, 34% of their money into interest. That leaves 26 cents for lifestyle and savings. Most people retire or can't retire because they don't have enough money, or when they do retire, boom, taxes come and hit them again, and it's drawn out of their 401k. What this program does, right, it takes money that's sitting, not earning interest, or it takes money that's being sent to the debtors in an effort to pay off debt quicker, but who's earning money on that money? It's the creditor. That's who's earning money on the money. So instead of me sending it all to them, I'm going to put it in a place where my money grows. And as my money grows, I can borrow against it, because if I take it out of my savings and I send it to someone, I spend it, I'll never see that money again. But if I borrow it against cash value and I go and pay something off, that same cash value is still growing like clockwork. This is why the rich stay richer, because this thing reduces taxes, makes interest for me, gives me liquid cash flow, and buys the one thing you can't buy with money: time.
That was a really great explanation all in one. That was awesome. I
Well, I
mean,
get super excited. I'm sorry, I get so excited about this because think about this. How many people hate their job? Most people
no.
hate their job, and they don't realize that they're getting up to work for the government and work for banks. So all we're doing is taking what you're already doing and making it a little better. We take
Right.
what you're already doing and we make it a little better. There's this concept called phantom income, right? If I could draw more money out of the money I already have and make money on that money, I'm ahead, right? Another place people do this process is called a home equity line of credit. So if my house is worth 300,000 and I take a home equity line of credit of 150,000, how much is my house worth? It's still 300,000.
Yeah.
And we know that real estate continues to go up. In this process, I have a number of clients who have plans to use their cash value to buy homes, then flip that home, pay themselves back. Now they've got more money and they pay less on capital gains tax. I mean, I know it sounds complicated, but it is very, very simple when it's explained by an experienced financial professional.
Exactly.
Like DJ Debt Free.
That's right. And I think that's the best thing about this is like you don't, with this debt-free life program, you know, it's whole life insurance. If you know, anyone was just going to try and walk up and do this themselves, it would be complicated. But now with our debt-free life program, it's, I mean, I've seen it literally prints out a ready-made map of exactly how you're going to pay it off, exactly in what time. It takes the guesswork out of it for anyone. And then, you know, obviously working with a professional, you know, you don't have to know everything about it for it to work. It works for you. It works for the client.
What's also really great about what you just said is it's guaranteed.
Yes.
Right? There's a roadmap, but there's a guarantee from the carrier about how much money you're going to have at certain points. And we know that there's only two guarantees in life: death and tax.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We're reducing taxes and we're insuring your death, right? See, another part about this that people forget is that there's an extremely large death benefit that gets put in place to protect the whole plan, right? I said protect. We're both protecting the plan, but we're also eliminating the possibility that you pass away and loans are unpaid. Those loans don't get passed on to future generations. What gets passed on is this extremely large death benefit. It does two things. It ensures that the future income I was going to earn, my human life value in terms of that money income, is guaranteed. Now it's protected. But it also ensures, and get this, people don't realize this, the next generation is not in debt. Because that death benefit has to be large enough so this thing is not considered an investment product. It's considered life insurance.
Right.
And because that death benefit is so high, I'm now passing on generational wealth that my kids, my grandkids, they won't be in debt as long as they follow the plan.
Well, one thing I also keep thinking about too, like that's just really current with what's happening in our, you know, our country right now, it's Social Security is probably going to go away. You know, that's the thing that people are banking on when they're in their later life for retirement. It's not a guarantee. Very few things are guaranteed. And it seems more and more likely that that is not going to be an option for people after, you know, a certain age right now. So this is a incredible way. Once you're done paying off your debt, guess what? You've got your own bank. It's generated all this interest. It's going to keep generating interest. And then now you have a more secure retirement.
I'm really glad you brought up Social Security. I'm going to share with our listeners, our viewers, a couple of resource material to go. So The Power of Zero is a movie you can get on Amazon, YouTube, Google, $4 or $5. It's 90 minutes. Economists, politicians from both sides of the aisle talking about how Social Security may run out by 2026 and that there's only two ways to combat that. One is it runs out and everybody's kind of SOL, and the other one is, well, politicians are not going to want to lose elections over running out of Social Security because 1/3 of this country receives that money. So it would be chaos, basically. Yeah. So they're going to raise taxes, right? If I asked you today, Courtney, do you think taxes are going to stay the same, go down, or go up? What would be your answer?
We've talked about this, and I go up. I think they're going to
Go
go.
up. Yeah. So ultimately, that means my 401k that I'm saving for retirement isn't as valuable, going to be less valuable, or however many years, because right now my tax rate might be 25%. And when I go to draw against it, my tax rate might be 35%, or whatever it ends up being. Just think about the CARES Act that just came out, $3 trillion, and now they're about to do it again. Just think about the S&P just went down by close to 30% and rebounded in 4 months. In no time in history has that ever happened. So what am I landing on? I'm landing on the fact that if I'm banking on the stock market to provide me with a secure future, I got problems, right? Nobody predicted coronavirus. Nobody could predict the stock market could drop 30% and rebound in 4 months. And I don't know what the future is going to be. Me personally, I'd rather take a 4% guarantee from some of our carriers like Forrester, Lafayette Life, and Mutual Trust, knowing that some of them will outperform that, and then a roadmap to pay off the debt. Then I can take all of that cash. In some cases, it's 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, whatever. I can take all of that cash and dump it into a Roth IRA, which is an after-tax product, which I can use money in and out of. And my retirement is now supercharged.
Yep.
Supercharge it, baby.
Yeah, I don't like to rely on anyone else. I don't trust anyone else to take care of, my retirement or anything. I would rather have something in my control, something that I've been working towards, something that's guaranteed. So, to me, it's a no-brainer. So I've heard you kind of hit this topic a few times. It's sort of peppered in there, but I just think this is a common question that some skeptics or critics might have. So I want to, and I'm sure you're excited to answer it. If someone were to ask you, well, why wouldn't I just save my own money? Why wouldn't I just put my extra money in my bank account, in my savings account? Why a whole life policy? What would you say to that?
I'm super glad you brought that up. Right now with coronavirus, people getting furloughed, laid off, savings are at an all-time high. How much interest do you earn in your savings account, Courtney?
Nothing.
Right. Over here on the East Coast, we call it bupkis. Zero. Close to nothing. Right? What is the bank doing with that money? Let's a little role play here. What is the bank? Do you think the bank's doing with that money?
They loan it out to other people.
Yeah, they loan it out for mortgages. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful, Courtney, that we've got to meet to protect your mortgage today. And I know you said you got an amazing interest rate at 3.35 from Wells Fargo or Bank of America. I know you also said you have a great savings account with Wells Fargo. Bank of America named the bank. So what that means is they just took your money and they lent it back to you at 3.75. How does that make you feel?
Like I was cheated.
So now my money's sitting in savings, right? And the one thing that people rely on when it comes to savings is an emergency hits, I could walk up and get my cash. I feel good about that. So what does savings buy? It buys good feelings.
Okay.
That's all it really buys, right? But if I took that savings money, and sometimes we do this, it's called a drip, right? We funnel it and drip it over into a whole life policy with flexible paid up additions that is essentially the debt-free life program. Not only now am I getting interest on my own money, but I'm also getting a guaranteed death benefit that would kick in if something happened and I lived, but I wish I died, like a heart attack or cancer or stroke, or I'm paraplegic. Like that money is now accessible to me, and it's a very, very great benefit to this. So the idea is, do I live in scarcity or do I live in abundance? In scarcity, I'm going to stockpile that money in that savings account, and I'm going to wait for that rainy day, and then I'm going to put on my umbrella and my raincoat and say, yeah, thank God I made it through. Living in abundance is, I'm not going to stockpile that. I'm going to take that money. I'm going to turn it into more. I'm going to trust people who know what they're talking about. I'm going to trust myself. And I'm going to trust that things will work out, especially if it's in a guaranteed place. I'm going to make more money on that. And then when that rainy day comes, hey, I'll just borrow against it, pay off that emergency, and I'm still making more money. The idea is not just to move money, make money. It's to buy freedom.
You couldn't have said it better. I think you are definitely an expert in this, and I'm really glad that you were able to join us today and share your wealth of knowledge. I really appreciate it. I think anyone who's listening who is worried about retirement, worried about debt, that's pretty much everyone. So everyone has something to gain from learning from this, from this video or from this product. So I really appreciate your wisdom and, helping other people with some tough stuff that we all have to deal with.
This isn't just if you're worried about debt or worried about retirement. This is a process that works for anyone and everyone who wants to continue to grow their footprint in terms of wealth, who wants to create more time in terms of their life, in terms of freedom, and who is tired of getting up every day and working for 26 cents on the dollar. Let's put an end to that.
Beautiful. I love it. All right. Well, thank you, Keith, so much. DJ Debt Free. Appreciate you being here. And then I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Appreciate you, Courtney. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye.